Good morning, gorgeouses and lovelies, and welcome to the vlog. Today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me and ask me anything, so I'm excited. And if you're new here, welcome to Tis and Pop YouTube, where we discuss my experiences with autism, disability, chronic illness. What else is there? Bodybuilding, becoming a baby bodybuilder. Is there anything else? Mental health, lots of stuff. Jeez Louise. Okay. Well, that's one way to start the day, I will say. And I'm probably not going to be listing the products too much because I want to focus on what I'm talking about as opposed to interrupting myself, because you guys know, like, I have ADHD. I, frequently lose track, and the videos are unscripted, so I'm just doing my best to try to stay on topic, and I almost never can, which is fine. We're just, again, doing the best we can. So I'm going to go and try to find all of these in one place. Okay, boom, boom. Probably should have organized these It's okay. Into things into I would answer and wouldn't answer, just because it's not in the sense of ask me anything, nothing is off limits. The problem is there's some things that I can't speak about, so that's kind of the only thing, the only barrier. Okay, so I'm just going to glue my brows down. It's so funny, I've literally had this stuff since 2023. It's 2026. I just want to make sure that I'm okay. All right, so here's the first question, and I'm just gonna show the phone, for the YouTube thumbnail. Okay, we gotta lay these down, and then from there it's gonna be good. I'm seeing my mom in a little bit. I'm excited about. And yeah, okay, so the first question that I'm gonna be answering is, when were you diagnosed with autism? I recently got diagnosed at 17 after trying to get diagnosed since something 2000 and something, because it cuts off. These are all questions from IG. And I was diagnosed with autism in December 2021. Was it 2021? Yeah, 2021. I don't even know how old I was. 28, 27, 28, I think. I don't know. How long ago? Oh my God, that was a long time ago. Damn, for some reason, it just feels like yesterday. So much stuff has happened since then. I don't know, I feel like I've lived so many lives and been so many different people and been in so many countries. At the time when I was living in Mexico, and then I moved to Ecuador. Lots of things have happened. Okay. This is a good question here. I'm disabled and looking for ways to make money to live. I just lost my insurance. Any tips help? So here's the thing, and I will never endorse or suggest going into the line of work that I'm in. The line of work that I'm in that I gain income from, which is SW. I got into it as survivor work, and it's not something that I would recommend to other people. That being said, something that I feel like I was definitely born with is the kind of entrepreneurship gene. I've been selling things and making companies and doing shit for quite a long time. But the thing that I guess I would suggest is having an honest conversation with yourself, to really talk about and identify what strengths that you have and what interests that you have, and what you could potentially do to monetize those. So just as an example, let's say that, you lost your job, you don't have insurance anymore, and you're just kind of looking for ways to survive. First of all, something that I have done and other people that I know have done is asking for mutual aid. It felt for me, at least at the time, degrading and demeaning, and just really shameful, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do. As an aside note, On the other note that I'm thinking of, which is kind of what I ended up doing a lot of my life, is like finding a special interest and then figuring out a way to monetize it. So, for example, let's say that you just lost your job, which this person did, and they need insurance. They need money to live. And something that they really enjoy doing as a hobby is crocheting. So, I mean, if it were me, what I would do is find a way to like craft and make money off crafts. It just kind of depends what you're good at. You need to really take a look and evaluate what you're good at and what you're capable of doing. I think that a lot of, autistic, just neurodivergent people in general. So like, whatever's under that umbrella, there are a lot of things. Like I specifically under that umbrella fall under OCD, CPTSD, ADHD, OCD, autism, and I think a couple others. But it just, our minds work differently, right? And we have challenges that make it really hard, I think. At least it did for me, and I know that it does for a lot of people, to exist in the workplace. Like it just makes it extremely, extremely challenging. So I would say to try to find, like, have an honest conversation with yourself, as I just said, and figure out what your strengths are, and then go from there. That and mutual aid. I gotta do my lips, and I have to concentrate for this, because I know that if I don't, I'm going to completely mess it up. I can feel it already. Okay, I need to pause myself, and like, I'm kind of having like some stressful things happening right now. And I'm trying like not to talk about it. And I'm just trying to navigate it. But I can't stop thinking. Okay. Wow. It looks like Shigo from Kim Possible. So cute. Okay, there we go. Okay, the next question is, what would you say is an accommodation that changed your life for the better? So many things, like genuinely so many things I feel have changed my life for the better. I actually remember a moment with one of my best friends, Mackenzie, and her and I, we had the tendency to, like, our plans consist of us going, like, we always do the exact same thing. We go on hikes, and then or like little walks, and then we tend to go out for brunch. That's usually almost what we do every single time we hung out. And one time her and I went to a brunch place that we don't typically go to. We usually go to the same place, but we went to somewhere else that was close to the hike. And I was familiar with that place. Like I usually, whenever I go to places, I usually typically go to the same places I always go to because I know where the exits are, I know where the parking is, and it's like less stressful for me. But we were sitting there and I was having such a challenging time because there were so many noises and I was just freaking out. And she was like, do you want headphones? Do you want some headphones? She was like, they're not like noise canceling, but they help a bit. And I was like, oh my God, like, yeah, sure. Like I felt weird. They were over the head headphones and I kind of felt weird about it, but I was like, at this point, like I need anything that's going to kind of like dull the noise slightly. So she put them on me and I almost started crying. Like genuinely, I almost started crying because I couldn't believe that there was a way to slightly dull noises. Like I knew how headphones worked. I owned headphones. It was just like a huge moment for me where I was like, wow, I can accommodate myself. I can have slightly more control over my environments. Like I can help myself get through these really hard times. And that was a huge thing for me. Like I typically, whenever I go out, I'm always when I'm in public spaces, I'm almost always wearing noise canceling AirPods. Those have really helped significantly. Accommodations, I think that I've also made for myself is like, I try, I've also been using a cane. I bought a cane, I think it was like last July, and I didn't start using it until I think this year. I was just scared. I was scared that if I started using it, it was like essentially me admitting to the fact that I was disabled. It was just confusing for me because sometimes I don't need it and sometimes I do. And to me, it just felt like admitting that I was disabled and I would become more disabled. But the opposite happened. Like, when I accommodate myself, it helps me manage my disabilities better. Like if I put headphones on or sunglasses on, and try to reduce noise and reduce sensory input and wear baggy clothing, like that helps me, and it ends up allowing me and enabling me to live a more peaceful or a more productive life because I'm not constantly having autistic meltdowns, which is what used to happen to me very frequently. I also just I just wear clothing that feels good to me, that is comfortable for me. Like I'm no longer putting myself in a position where, like I always kind of just look, like I dress in stained, oversized clothing that doesn't fit because it's comfortable for me, And I focus on trying to be as comfortable as possible. I think a big accommodation too for me was letting people having people understand my limitations. And I have friends that understand my limitations, which I think is super important as somebody who's chronically ill and disabled. People know that when I hang out with them, we usually go to the same place. We do the same things. If I'm going on a hike with someone, specifically with Mackenzie, she has always been, before I knew I was disabled, before I knew I was chronically ill, she was always very accommodating to me whenever we went hiking together. Because sometimes, I just, I'm just thinking back to years ago because it's just crazy that we didn't know that I was disabled. Anyways. But I feel like I'm having a really hard time. I'm very stressed right now and kind of heightened, but I'm trying my best to stay on topic. So I do apologize. We are doing the best that we can. And sometimes I'm actually going to pause myself right now and just try to regulate before coming back to this. You are okay. You're safe. You're allowed to feel how you're feeling, and it's okay. One thing that we have learned over the past few years, as somebody who has been doing content creation for quite a while, is that you cannot control other people's perceptions of you. You know what I mean? And you're not the same person who you were when you were a child. You're not the same person who you were when you were a teenager. You're not the same person who you were 10 years ago. You're not the same person who you were even 2 months ago. And that's okay. It's a good thing. You're always evolving. And you can't control other people's realities. That's another thing. Okay. All right. Can you look over doors? This is so funny. Not really. It depends. If it's a bathroom stall, very frequently. There have been times where I have had to go into bathrooms and physically lower myself because I didn't want to make the person next to me feel uncomfortable because it was like this. The door was that high. It's crazy. I am very tall. I'm quite tall. Not just for, a woman, but I'm just tall in general. I'm 6'1", so that's probably why I got that question. I've got a lot of questions about height. How big and strong are your thighs? Not strong at all. Disabled girl here. I haven't had a full leg day for over a year, I think. So, they're not strong at all. Not strong at all. And I have lost 55. So any of the muscle that I did have, she's gone. But it's okay. We're just doing the best we can. Oh, what size are your feet? We're not answering that. Okay, what's your zodiac sign? I'm an Aries. What's the next step? You can do it. Just think. I know you're having a hard time, but you've got this, and I'm proud of you. Okay. Not nearly as tall, but my torso is long. Where do you find your bodysuits? Bodysuits. I'm thinking, there's one I have that's from Lululemon. I used to wear the dark sport suit all the time, but I just haven't been wearing dark sport a lot because pretty much all of the clothing that they gifted to me was gifted to me when I was significantly larger than I am now. So a lot of it just doesn't fit. But yeah, I have some from Lululemon. I think I had one from Aritzia back in the day. But yeah, that's about it. Okay, let's see here. Oh no, what happened? The light ran out. What the heck? Oh my god. I had a light and now it's completely run out. That's horrible. What the heck? Okay, well anyway. Best advice for confidence. Lately, my anxiety around simple tasks has been huge. So this is a great question. I think, and I'm actually going to come back to this in 2 seconds because I'm going to go downstairs and charge my light. I almost never use lights, but I was on a webinar and Ari Kitsia recommended this light, and it's quite fabulous and it's not that hard to set up. So I'm just going to go charge this for a little and then we'll come back. We're not going to have the light because it's charging. Oh no, find my face. Okay, we're back, guys. Okay, confidence. So this person is having confidence issues and a lot of anxiety surrounding simple tasks. So I think when a lot of people talk about confidence, primarily they have the tendency to, well, I don't know if that is the case here. I think a lot of people want to feel confident and they're referring to how they look. I have never felt as confident as I do now, and it absolutely has nothing to do with how I look. And I think that it has everything to do with how disciplined that I've become. Because when you have the ability to prove to yourself over and over again that you are who you think that you are, and you are who you say that you are, then your confidence really kind of skyrockets. And simple tasks are hard. Like, I struggle with simple tasks. I always have. And it's gotten better over the years, but it's not something that is immediate. When you have a big life change, it's not something that has the tendency to kind of happen overnight. Most of the time, it's just making very small changes over an extended period of time. So I think that really when it, for me at least, it kind of is starting small and then starting to build habits and habit stacking. I'm sorry if I'm coming off weird. I am slightly dysregulated. Again, we are just doing the best that we can, and that's all we can do. But when it comes to small tasks that you're having trouble with, I think my advice would be to try to complete them by to the best of your ability by eliminating steps. It's something that I've been doing recently, and I realized that I kind of have struggled a lot with perfectionism throughout my life. And something that has really helped me is just finding a way to complete a task, but it doesn't have to be perfect and you don't have to do all of the steps. For example, when it comes to brushing teeth, I've always had such a hard time and struggled so hard with brushing my teeth. And there are times when I don't feel like I've actually been really consistent over the past month with brushing my teeth, beautifully. So proud of myself. I think I've never brushed my teeth as much as I have in the past month. It's pretty crazy. But anyway, that being said, there are nights where, a few days ago, I usually work around 10 hours a day, but there was a couple days ago where I worked 11 and a half, almost 12 hours, and I was really tired and I didn't want to brush my teeth. So what I did is I just used a water flosser. That's all I used. I just wanted to get anything done that I could. It's trying to do what you can to accommodate yourself to make the process as easy as possible to just get to a result, get to an end result. So for example, I had it and then I lost it. It was in my brain and now it's gone. If you want to start being the type of person who has a clean house, for example, right? And you have the tendency to leave dishes all over your house and I'm speaking from experience and you've always been very dirty. I am a very clean person now. I was not always that way. In fact, I was extremely dirty for the majority of my life. But it all starts very small and slowly over time it builds. So if you're the type of person who you have the tendency to continuously leave dishes in your room because you're constantly in your room, then start one day by just putting one dish away. As soon as you use it, just put one dish away. Let's say that you're making lunch for yourself and you use 3 dishes. For example, you have a bowl, you have a plate, and then you have a cup. And you're in your room and you rarely put dishes away. Start by putting just one dish away. make it easy for yourself, right? Learn how to accommodate yourself. If you're someone who has a really hard time, for example, you're chronically ill like me and, you feel like you're going to pass out frequently and doing basic tasks is really hard for you. Let's say that you want to get laundry done, but when you're standing, you feel like you're going to pass out, or same kind of thing with like the shower where it's really hard for you and you feel like you're going to pass out. Do things that you can to accommodate yourself. For example, I actually down there have a shower chair. I have it because there are times when I feel like I'm going to pass out in the shower, and there are times when I just need to sit down, and that's what I need to do to complete the task. Same kind of goes for laundry or for doing tasks. Like sometimes you need to sit down, sometimes you need to make things easier. Just essentially have a conversation with yourself and figure out what your limitations are and figure out the best ways that your brain works and how to accommodate yourself better based off of your needs and what needs to get done. I hope that was helpful. Maybe it wasn't. Probably none of these are. What are the odds of taking you on a date? Mine is 0. I don't date, never will again. Absolutely not. Okay, anything you recommend for getting out of a funk? Grateful to be alive, but the depression is strong. A great question. Something that I would recommend, this is gonna maybe sound crazy to you. It doesn't sound that crazy to me, to be honest. Is like putting on some good music, blasting it, and physically jumping up and down, just jumping up and down, dancing, and physically moving your body and forcing yourself to find ways to experience joy. Another thing that I feel has really helped me is finding ways to connect with my inner child and doing things that brought me joy when I was a child. Another thing too that is challenging and helps is opening the blinds, opening the windows. I know that when you're depressed, you're kind of in a state where everything sucks. It's really hard and you hate your life and you're sad and you want to leave, the planet. But I think that finding ways to make the space around you better is one way to do it. And a huge thing of that is making your bed. I make my bed every single day, without fail. And there have been a couple times where I've failed when I was really having a hard time. But even if you're the type of person who, I have been throughout my entire life up until literally 2 months ago, where all you do is spend time in bed, even if you're doing that, even if you spend all day in bed, get out of bed, make your bed, get back into it. Genuinely. Because I think when you have depression, you struggle to get basic shit done. It's really hard. So if you start your day by accomplishing something, it can make you feel good and feel proud of yourself for getting something done that is really challenging for you. That's just my opinion. I don't know what the I'm talking about. I mean, I had depression for a really long time, so maybe I slightly do. It could also be something connecting with a friend. God, that sounds so stupid. I feel like you already know this. I don't know. Whatever, you guys are asking me questions. I'm just giving you honest answers. Sometimes I feel really insecure. What's the thing you love most about being in a house? I like that I don't have to interact with other people. I like that I can control the noise, I can control the lights, and it's just so much easier for me. Can we cuddle? Absolutely not. That question, the way it's worded doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Would you know how to cope with autism when your doctor can diagnose you due to other? I don't know what that means. I'm so sorry. I'm trying my best, but I also don't understand what that says. My apologies to you. This is the hard part. Oh my God. You can absolutely do this. You're awesome. How was the doctor that diagnosed you with Hypermobile Ehlers Danlos? He was lovely. He was very understanding. Dr. Atwell from the Atwell Clinic. However, I felt like the communication afterwards was not that great. And I don't know. It just depends. I don't know. It was nice to feel understood and validated. I think that's all I can say, really. Would you come to Australia? I would love to. However, spiders, that's actually fine. I'd be fine. But it's mainly like, first of all, it's expensive to travel, and it's really hard for me to travel personally. Like, I have such a hard time. I wanted to take a trip with my mom. It's hard for me for a variety of reasons, but it's almost always relating to expenses and disability. Mainly because I'm in pain all the time. Doing something like a 12-hour flight would be really challenging for me physically, like pain-wise. It would also be really hard for me autism-wise. And things are hard for me celiac-wise because I need to be super careful about what I'm putting into my body. Apparently Italy is a really great place for celiacs, but that's really expensive. Okay, this is the part that's going to be really challenging. I don't know how we're going to do it. What time is it? Oh! It's 9:14. We can do it. It's going to be fine. How do you handle the feeling of being stuck? I like reading self-help books. I feel like those are really inspirational and they really help. I'm currently reading The Mountain Is You. Another book that I really like, I wish that it wasn't written as like fiction and was just written as nonfiction, because like it's really corny, but it's got a lot of good life lessons, is, okay, I have a couple tattoos from it. Kaizen, which is the continuous art of self-improvement. And Her Mind is the Lush Landscape of Potential and Possibility. What's it called? The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I feel like self-help books are really challenging in times like that because they just help me feel inspired. I also feel like I look to people for inspiration, or I look into areas that I want to get better in and I try to find inspiration there. How do you push through? How do you handle feeling of being stuck? Yeah, I think it's just getting inspired, finding ways to get inspired. Just give me 1 second. I got to do this fucking hard part and I'm really stressed out about it. But you know what? First of all, you're capable of doing this. Second of all, you've got time constraints that are made up in your mind, in your brain. If you mess it up, it's not that big a deal. You can quite literally just wipe it up. I know that it's hard, but you're going to be okay. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to just get this done quietly and then I'm going to come back to you. Can you see me? You're going to see me. Okay. There's nothing on the brush. What the heck? Why is there nothing on here? Oh my god. Is there none left? That would be bad. For the one time I need it. Okay. We have the one line done. Okay, we have 2 lines done. You guys are going to be like, why are you painting antennas on your face? A great question. Okay, what are some tips or advice you have for those who have gotten an adult diagnosis for autism? I think the biggest thing is genuinely taking time to educate yourself and learning about your needs and how to accommodate them better. Because once you start accommodating yourself, I'm telling you, life vastly improves. Oh, what the heck? There's like no eyeliner left. Oh my god, what the heck are we gonna do, guys? It's gonna be fine. Okay. We're doing like some of this like iconic graphic liner that I used to do because I'm doing something special, which you'll find out about in the next video. My hands are super shaky, but it's okay. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. Stop being a baby loser. Sorry. Sometimes I mostly talk really positively to myself, and sometimes I have to just check myself and be like, come on, silly goose, like, let's get it done. It's a balance for sure. You can do this. You've got this. You're so awesome, and I'm so proud of you, and you're great. Okay. We're doing it. You see? Okay. Yes. What's the next one? Okay, let's see. Oh my god, there are several. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. What's your favorite type and brand of underwear? I don't wear it super often, but like when I do, if I'm wearing whatever, I wear Knix. It's period underwear. And down there, despite being in menopause, I'm a very like girly, like it's very like opposite of a savanna. It's like Amazon rainforest. So I usually actually, even despite the fact that I don't menstruate anymore, I do wear those, and I wear panty liners inside of it. Yeah. Oh god, it's rough. Okay. Are you a person who dates people? No, I am not. Do you, the next one is, do you struggle handling your autism sometimes? Yeah, all the time. Quite literally all the time. It's very disabling. Yeah, I always struggle with it, and I don't think that's ever gonna stop, unfortunately. Like, I'm just being honest. I don't think it's ever gonna stop, which is fine. Like, I think that honestly, I've learned ways to, as I said before, like to accommodate myself, but it's just hard. It just is. I don't know, there are a lot of people who are very accepting of their, oh, are we there? I think, oh, I'm back, okay. I think that there are a lot of people who are accepting of their autism and happy that they have it. Oh my god, camera. Track me, silly goose. I don't know if I'll ever get to that point. I'm just being honest. I don't know. I think that I have multiple things that disable me, and I think that I'm resentful slightly. So yes, I do struggle. I struggle with my autism all the time. I don't know, there are some people who talk and say that they don't struggle, but I don't know how that's possible. It just kind of, it comes out everywhere all the time. And it just makes simple things so much more challenging. So much more challenging. And I think it's frustrating. Okay, there, oh, it's lost there. Okay, no, that's not good. I'm talking about the eyeliner. Oh god, I messed it up. It's okay. Don't you worry, sweet girl. Sometimes we mess things up and I'm really fucking it up. Take a breath. You got this, sweet girl. I feel like I gentle parent myself all the time. And I feel like it's something that's very effective for me. That helps me, like, significantly. I quite love gentle parenting myself. And I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing for the longest time. I thought I was just, like, learning to speak, you know, kindly to myself, but I was, in fact, gentle parenting myself. Okay, so we did the eyeliner. I need to figure out if because I'm doing it to, like, match something. I just need to take a look at the photo to make sure that, I don't know, do I want to do the wing? I really don't want to do a wing, if I'm being completely honest, but it kind of, that's the whole look, isn't it? Oh, let's look. Let's find out. And then we're going to go back to answering questions. Albums. Oh, I do have the wing. I didn't want to do it. That's okay. That's okay. Just do it. Don't be such a silly goosey girl. Okay. All right. Where do you find the best pants? Workout, daily wear, comfy, that are enough for your long legs. Okay, so I pretty much I wear Lululemon. Lots of Lululemon. There are lots of really good Lululemon dupes. In some sizes, in some things, Lululemon offers, like, long versions where it's, like, 34 length. But I'm also the type of person with leggings that I wear socks over top of the leggings because I just kind of like the look of that. So I would say Lululemon. I also wear Aritzia cargo sweatpants. Aritzia cargo sweatpants have been a godsend. It was so funny because I never wear anything from Aritzia. I actually used to, side note, it was like one of the first jobs I ever had. And they had these pants there that were called Houligans. They were like cargo jeans. And they were $300. And this was back in 2011. And they weren't long enough and they were super defective. People always brought them back because they were ripping. And one time, and I worked at Aritzia and I didn't own anything from Aritzia. And I saw, like, pants that were like the same kind of pant at Old Navy for quite literally $11. So I wore them. And then I came into work and they were like, "Are you wearing imposter Houligans?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "You can't wear those again." And I was like, "Okay, like, I won't, but I'm not paying $300 for defective pants that literally come up to mid-calf on me. Like, it's just, that's not what's going to be happening here, friend." So yeah, I do wear lots of Lululemon, Aritzia cargo sweatpants. They come in, like, tall versions, fabulous, super comfy. When I first started wearing them, however, I freaked out for days because it was, like, a brand that I wasn't familiar with and I was scared that I wasn't going to be able to become comfy. However, I quite literally live in them. I love them. I have them in several colors and I just think that they're fabulous. And yes, like, it's expensive. $85 for a pair of sweatpants is expensive. However, sometimes you have to pay extra for tall. Like, it just is what it is. It's hard. It sucks. It is what it is. Oh my god, I never do eyeliner. When I do this, I usually use tape, but I just was kind of like, fuck it. Probably a bad decision. That's okay. Would I ask everyone from my 5th grade teacher to the boss? Okay, that's not an appropriate question for here. So I will not be answering that because it's just not appropriate. Oh my god. I literally have, like, no eyeliner left. We're struggling hard right now. Okay, we can do this. We've got it. I can do it. Oh no. Oh, well, yeah. Well, is it that noticeable? Oh, wait. Hi. Okay, the eyeliner is done. I did it. It's not horrible. It could be worse. We're gonna continue. 9:30. Okay, you've got this. How do you stay so well put together? I don't know what you mean. I don't know if you mean, like, aesthetically or mentally, but, like, here's the thing. You see what I post online, right? And I learned in the past 3 years of doing this that a lot of the time, like, yes, sometimes people want to, witness when you're having a hard time so that they feel less alone. However, if I recorded every single moment that I was having a hard time, all you'd see was hard time content from me. And I wanted to be a little bit more positive online and figure out a way to do that. So you're just really not seeing it all, because I post like very little of my life. And yeah, I mean, I think that maybe is just like your perception of me. If you mean aesthetically, again, that is your perception of me, because genuinely, and I say this with all the love in my heart, I almost never look put together. Sometimes I do when I'm going to the gym and like wearing a cute outfit. If I look cute online, it's probably because I'm wearing sweatpants and like a cute top, and just filming like the top part of my body. But I just almost never do look put together in real life. When I'm in public, I never look put together. I'm almost always wearing stained, comfy clothing that is way too big for me. And I don't care, because that is what feels good to me. And if I'm in public, I'm trying to navigate a public space, noises, lights, and I just want to feel comfortable. And that's what takes priority to me, not aesthetics. So I actually did look nice though for once. I almost never look nice, and my mom wanted to take photos on Mother's Day, and I wore jeans that I used to wear, like that I got back when I first started losing weight, like when I first started my fitness journey, and they were like way too big on me, so they were comfy, and then I wore a Lululemon top. But I almost never look put together, and I'm almost never put together in real life. Like, I'm learning how to regulate and self-regulate a lot more, but yeah, I think that it could just be mainly your perception of me. Oh, this is a good question. How does EDS, so Ehlers Danlos, affect your ability to do like SW? Or how does it work for you? Are flares difficult? Yes. There was a time last year when I had the worst flare of my life. It was, this fall was pretty bad too, but that was really bad. And I remember, like, I was just resending out old stuff that I had already sent out. And then there was one time where I was like, okay, I need to make something new. So I was living with my mom at the time, but I was paying rent at my apartment. So I literally went to my apartment. I did my makeup, and I filmed like 2 things, and it was one of the it wasn't one of the hardest things, but it felt like at the time one of the hardest things that I've ever done. Like, it was so hard, and it was so painful. For the most part, the thing is like, genuinely, the people that subscribe to me, like, I don't hire chatters. I just talk to people, and it's just me. So like, they know and understand my limitations, and mostly like they're very kind. Like, there were periods where I put nothing out new. I didn't do anything for like 2 months, and people were like, hey, like, you're resending out the same content, kind of what's going on here, when are we gonna get new stuff? And I was like, I apologize, if you want, I can provide you with some free stuff. I can give you you can get a refund, like whatever kind of works best for you to keep you happy. But like, you might want to unsubscribe right now because I'm not feeling too well, and when I feel better, then I'll be able to produce more. But right now I can't, and that's okay. It's something that you want to be consistent with, but you can't always. Follow my face. Come up here. You can do it. Good girl. Yeah, you just can't always do it. And that's okay. It's hard to be consistent. It's just really challenging. And that's it. Like, I mostly just don't create content when that happens. When I do, like, I try to batch and do several things at once. But most of the time, I just, like, when I'm experiencing that stuff and I'm having a really hard time, I just don't create content. I just resend out old stuff, and just like a discounted rate. We're just doing the best we can. They understand, and the people that don't understand, then that's their issue. What's your biggest concern with putting your life on the internet? Probably safety. I think safety is a big one. But what am I doing? I said, Allison, silly goose. We just talked about this in your brain. Yeah, I think safety is a big concern, which I probably shouldn't share because, then it's going to invite people to do crazy shit. But safety Safety and getting canceled. I think getting canceled, which I will at some point, for sure, absolutely. I think I'm a very, as I said, you know, I'm a very different person than I was before. When I was a kid in active and in early sobriety, it was very different. You know, I wasn't a good person. I wasn't a kind person. It wasn't a reflection of who I truly was, but my actions, you know, I used hateful language. I did bad things, like I stole, like I gaslighted and manipulated people. You know, when you're an addict, you do things to feed your addiction. And there were a lot of things that I also didn't know because of my upbringing. Like, you know, I've been doing anti-racism work for years now. And I'm still constant. You're never done. You know, it's never an end journey, but there were things that I didn't know. Like I'm white. You know, when you're YT, you're born into YT supremacy, and you have to do the work to like unlearn things that are happening, especially with what's going on right now. Like that shit is very prevalent, I think is the right word. But yeah, like I know I'm gonna get canceled for sure because I was a bad person. I was an addict. I did things. You know what I mean? I said bad things. We've all done and said bad things, and I've caused trauma to people. I'm not sitting here like making light of it. I just know that, like, here's the thing. If you want to change and become a better person and you're caught in these shame cycles, it's not going to help you, you know? And while you cannot undo the trauma that you've caused to another person, what you can do is become a better person and find ways to never do it again. Like, just because you can't fix trauma that you've caused doesn't give you the right to be like, well, I'm just going to continue to be a shitty person. Like, you can if you want, if you so choose, but I don't know, like, I wouldn't, I haven't. So yeah, safety and getting canceled. I will get canceled. It's going to happen for sure. I think that's the thing. Like, you know, when you put your life out on the internet, everybody's going to see, right? If you're a regular, oh my God, that's crazy. I've never said that before, but it's kind of funny. If you're just like a regular person, right? You're not going to get canceled because you're not putting your whole life on the internet. People are not coming forward with, you know, stories about you, whatever the fucking case may be. But like, that's because your life isn't on display, right? If we put everyone's sins or bad shit that they've done on display, we'd all have very different opinions of people. And I think the thing too is that like people's perceptions of you are not reality. Like, they're not reality. I think also there are a lot of people who knew me, you know, inactive, and their perception of me is based off of their experiences at the time, not who I am now. I'm very different. As I said, like, I'm different from when I was I'm different from when I was a child. I'm different from early sobriety. I'm different from 5 years ago. I'm different from 2 months ago. And you kind of need to learn to have a thick skin. I think bullying a lot, being bullied in primary school from like grade 1 to grade 6 kind of helped with that, but nothing really can ever prepare you. I think another thing too is, you know, you get all these like crazy threats and messages and just like people being really hateful and kind of scary and really crazy, and people being mean, like people are very mean. But the thing is like, you know, yes, it's really hard to take. And I think the thing that also is very hard to take is when you are someone like me who's doing the best that they can to like share their experiences in the hopes of educating people and making them feel less alone. You know, I get a lot of people who are telling me I'm not disabled, who I'm faking disability, whatever the f***. Like, the thing is so funny because I'm online only because I like want to help people and I need to figure out a way to make money. But if I wanted to just make money, like I wouldn't be talking about disabilities. I would just be hot online. So, yeah. Okay. If you could do anything without failing, what would you do? That's a great question. Probably everything I'm doing now. But the whole thing is failing. That's life. You have to fail. You have to fail. That's like the whole point. The whole point is doing things, failing, and then learning. So like, I don't think I would want to not fail. It is easier, but am I going to learn anything? Probably not. I don't know. Maybe that's a dumb answer. But like, life is failing. It just is. You're going to fail. That's how you learn. I mean, I guess if I were answering that question and one thing I could do without failing, I guess is flying. If I could like fly like a bird, that would be cool. But that's more like superpowers. And I already have one of those. Autism, that's a joke. So, yeah. Flying, I guess. Just taking a leap of faith and then it working. Like off of, yeah. Come to Cali, no. What's the Arabic name that the necklace says? It says Ali Sun. My friend who lived in Dubai bought it for me because I really liked hers. And apparently it says Ali Sun, like S-U-N, because they didn't have S-O-N. I don't know. That's what she said. It would be really funny if it were something different. Okay. Come to Cali, no. Wish I could. Not going to. Have you got any travels in the UK or Europe in the coming weeks? No, I don't. I would love to go to Greece with my mom. It's one of my hugest goals. However, that trip is like 50 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand to get like accommodations that I would need. So we looked into it. I actually hired a disability travel advisor. It was way too expensive. I just couldn't do it. Would you be able to show the document that you made of your symptoms that help you get your EDS, Ehlers-Danlos diagnosis? So those are actually highlighted on my Instagram. So they're available. People have used them to create their own document. I'm probably going to make a separate video about like Ehlers-Danlos, my diagnosis, that whole thing, and I can include it there. But for now, if you want it right away, it's on my Instagram. Sorry, I'm trying to think, and I'm also like stressed out because I am really on a time constraint right now, but we're doing the best we can, and that's all that we can do. Okay. And I'm going through these questions faster than I normally would, but I also am almost done my makeup. So, would you be interested in a relationship with okay, no. Where are all your rings from? That's so funny because the answer is going to be funny for reasons you're about to find out. So a lot of them are from, so like this is from a market in, I'm just laughing because I knew that this was going to happen one day. This diamond here, right here, is the diamond that my ex-stepdad, who was in prison for but wrongfully convicted, but one day him and I, it's a long story. There's a lot of lore there. But anyway, he gave to my mom. This is from Winners. Grandma's engagement ring. A market in Ecuador. Stupid. There are several jewelry pieces that I bought while I was living in Mexico from this jewelry store because my friend had it and I wanted to be more like my friend, and it was really expensive. Like for me at the time, it was really expensive. And honestly, the jewelry is such bad quality. It's crazy. Like, oh my God. It makes me so angry. And like so much of the stuff, like gems have fallen off. Clasps have broken. Like it actually drives me fucking nuts when I think about it. So yeah, mostly just stuff from my grandma or from Winners, and then I have some stuff from my ex-stepdad who was in prison for Go Peter. That was his name. Okay, how did getting a service dog impact you? So Petunia is actually currently at Miss Girlfriend is at her third board and train right now. And we're not fully there yet. Like, she's also a puppy, and she's a Frenchie. Everyone's going to be like, Frenchies make horrible service dogs. Yes, they have limitations because of their breed. Absolutely. She's also very neutral, which is not like Frenchies. So she's very good. She's come with me to appointments, and it's made me feel better. However, like, she's helped me navigate hard things, but she's also still in training, right? So and she's still a puppy, so there's only so much that we can expect of her. And I also feel like next time I go to actually get a service dog, like I thought going this route would be better because so when I got her, I didn't get her with the intention of making her a service dog. Obviously, she's a Frenchie. I've always wanted a French bulldog. So after years and understanding their breed, I got one because I was like, I needed to have enough money for the nose job and everything, whatever. So when I got her and she seemed chill, I was like, oh, I'll make her a service dog and I'll just pay for training and it'll be, cheaper. But the thing is that it means that I have to train her myself at home as well. Like I have to continue training her. And, for the past several months, I wasn't doing a very good job at that, if I'm being completely honest. So when you buy like a service dog, you're buying a finished product, right? There's no, like, you're not training them. They're already done. And I think that that is, it's not a mistake that I've made, but it's something that I would do differently next time. But it's just, they're so expensive. Like, it's hard to go that route because they're fucking expensive. How long did it take for you to become consistent with your fitness? A great question. I'm doing this for half a decade. Literally in the past 2 months, I've gone to the gym 5 times, I think. I've not been going a lot. There were always, like, I've been going to the gym for a really long time, but not consistently. And the biggest thing for me, I'm not saying that it's the case for other people, but the thing is like, I've had abusive relationships, like only abusive relationships. So every time I would get into a relationship, I would stop going to the gym because I was like obsessed with being with the other person 24/7, obsessed with their wants and their needs, and I put mine aside, and that's okay. We know better. I don't date now, and I get shit done. Every time I'm single, I'm like in the best, like aesthetically, I guess, like shape of my life. When I'm in a relationship, not so much. Again, I'm just talking about my experience. I'm not saying that everybody's like that. It's just my experience, and that's okay. Okay. God. Boyfriend, taking applications. No. Do you know some words in French? Écureuil. Squirrel. I do understand French significantly better than I can speak it. Like, I can listen to people speaking French and know what they're saying. What's your favorite band or artist? Someone that I've been consistently listening to, like an album that I've been consistently listening to is Clouds by Apollo Brown. I quite love that album. It's a lot of instrumentals and it's just like very calming and chill. I don't know who I'd say for like favorite artist or favorite song, but that is just like what I've been listening to a lot recently and also over the past years. Is that it? Oh my god, no. There's no way. Oh my god. Is that it? I'm just looking through. What? Wait, you're on your way? What the heck? Okay, so my mom's gonna be here momentarily. I didn't know. I didn't see your text. Okay, so anyway, we actually did answer like all of the questions. There was only a couple that were like inappropriate that we didn't answer, which, you know, I'm not going to because I'm not answering those types of questions because you can't. I have no problem answering them. I have no problem answering any question, genuinely. It's just that like, it's just, you can't talk about certain things. And so, like, unfortunately, there are things that I can't answer because of that. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do one of these again. I'm so sorry that it felt rushed, and I also apologize because I feel like I was like, we're doing the best we can, but I'm a little dysregulated, and we're just trying our best to cope. And sometimes, you know what? I usually always say this thing where I say, and you know, sometimes that's good enough, but it almost never is. But you know what? That is good enough. It is good enough. I am good enough. I am enough. So, my mom is so funny. She messaged me. She's like, "Oh my god, I left at 9:30." Because I was like, "Where? You're supposed to." She's supposed to get here. Not then. Not now. Like, she's supposed to get here in an hour. So she's like, I don't know, like 15 minutes away. And she's like, "Oh my god, I left way too early." And I'm like, yeah, I was kind of wondering what's happening there, but that's okay. Anyway, more time to hang out with her. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you guys so much for your questions. If you have more, you can kind of like leave them down below. I do apologize for it feeling like slightly rushed. There were some questions that I just answered quickly because they were like silly goose questions, like, you know, like, can you see over doors? What's your foot size? You know, like not things that people actually wanted genuine advice about. And anyway, this is like all stream of consciousness. We're doing the best that we can, and it is in fact good enough. So I hope some of it was slightly helpful. Probably wasn't. You know what? Don't do that to yourself. Let's not do that. People are asking you these questions because you feel like you're worthy of like giving them answers, and you have lots of really good life experiences. You've also encountered and dealt with a lot of hard shit and a lot of trauma. So like there is value in what you say, and there is value in what you can provide to people. And you have limitations, you have ADHD, so sometimes you get off track. You're also feeling very dysregulated, and you're doing the best that you can. And that's it. Sorry, I had to kind of give myself a little pep talk. Oh my god. Here's the makeup. What do we think? Should I get the light? Should I put the light on? Should I put the light on? No, it's fine. Okay. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. You could like, share, comment, subscribe. Literally, you don't have to. You don't have to. It's fine. If you watched this video and you hated it, I mean, that's just kind of strange behavior on your part. Why are you watching someone that you don't like? Silly goose. But if you really did not like it, you could, in theory, send it to somebody that you don't like in order to spite them if you really didn't like the video. But I mean, if you didn't like it and you watched it all the way to the end, thank you so much for showcasing the behavior of a fan, because I appreciate it. And if you didn't like it, you can also give me feedback. Like, I mean, genuinely, like if you actually really didn't like it, I'm totally open to feedback, and you can just like let me know what you didn't like about it or things that I can improve upon. And yeah, that's it. I feel like my makeup is messed up. What's the matter, Allison? Are you okay? I think when I don't know, I think something happened. I think when I put setting spray on the beauty blender, maybe it kind of smudged some stuff, and it kind of, I feel like it looks weird. That's okay. It's not perfect, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Everything is okay, and you're safe, and that's all that matters. And also, what does matter is you did the eyeliner perfectly. So that's a big major feat. Okay, that's it. Again, reapplying blush. Okay, that's it. Okay, thank you. Genuinely, guys, seriously, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, I literally sent the comments of a couple videos ago, or like the last video, to my mom and some friends, because I was so proud, because I got such nice comments from people like thanking me and saying that they found it really awesome. And I just thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. And if you'd like a kiss on the forehead, you don't have to, but I can give you one. And just let you know, proud of you, proud of you, proud of us. And that's it. So yeah, heck yeah, brother. YouTube done.